Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, and a few people on Reddit don't like me saying this, but also known as the king of 5.7x28mm, and we have a review on that ammunition today. We have our Pro Pal Digital DLX as always, as well as our Garmin Zero C1 that we got from Bass Pro Shops. A big thank you to them for sending that out. That has come in great handy for having a second data point for velocities, and it pretty much picks up that almost every single time unless you start firing a little faster. All right, now let's see what our SS190 will do. We've shot this in the past, and it has a pretty similar wound track. We're looking at about 10 to 12 inches max penetration. We're gonna get 2 tumbles or yaws inside of our block. I shot that way too low, 2350. $25.19. Now, if we were going by the FBI's minimum penetration standards of 12 inches in gel, that's organic gel, we're seeing less than that, right around 11 inches. Up here, base first is the pistol, nose first right there is the 16 inch, and then down there right at the 10 inch mark is the 10.4 inch. You can see that we have a very, very long neck, kind of too long in my opinion, but we're not getting a lot of terminal effect otherwise. Now that is an FMJ, and this could be, in my opinion, you know, let's take it for face value, why 5.7 has done poorly, so to speak, in officer-involved shootings with the FNP 90, because we're not reaching minimum penetration depths. Now, there is a paper that I haven't read yet, I don't think it's been published, that you can calculate the wound volume of all this relative to a, you know, jacketed hollow point pistol round, and you could argue, you know, that greater wound volume could be better terminally, but I still like ammunition that's going to meet the minimum penetration depths, and that's why I always recommend our long and light copper solids. Now, they do have a disadvantage of being less accurate out of the pistol at ranges above 10 yards. Hopefully those guys are working on that so we have some better designed rounds. As a comparison, I've got some 40 grain pre-fragmented projectiles from Elite Ammunition. Now, these aren't the long and light, these are long and fairly heavy, but we should see a little over 1,700 feet per second from these. We'll see what this can do in gel. 1949, did not get a velocity off the Garmin. Well, folks, let's look at this guy. We have about an inch to inch and a half neck. You could argue that it's shorter because if I look at the front of the gel block, the entrance hole does not look perfectly round. So we've got that little bubble right there. Then from the 4 to the 7 inch mark, we actually split that projectile off in 2 segments, 2 separate wound tracks, 14 and then 15.5 inches. Very, very impressive. Now, the downside, as I mentioned, to these pre-fragmented projectiles in 5.7 is that out of our shorter barrel lengths, we seem to have a lack of precision or accuracy beyond about 10 to 12 yards. When you step up the barrel and you've got more dwell time of that bullet in that barrel, the accuracy does improve out to 25 yards. Again, 5.7's not really meant for long-range engagement, but you want to be able to hit what you're aiming at with some decent precision. So the, you know, R&D side of these bullets definitely needs some improvement in the accuracy department, but the terminal ballistic side of it, that's impressive. We'll grab a shot from the 10 inch. .2270, did not get a reading off the Garmin. Well, now, folks, we have 3 separate wound tracks right now. About the same neck, but a lot more violent wound cavity starting. It looks like right around the 5.5 inch mark, our tip breaks off and we make it down to about 10.5 inches. Then all the way out to the 16 or 17 inch mark is the middle section, and then all the way out to the 19 inch mark is the base. I would argue that we want to carry as much mass as we can to penetration depths so that we can destroy more things at that depth, but we're getting to the penetration depths that the FBI deems as minimum and then some. Fairly impressive. Here is a top-down shot. This guy right here is the pistol. You can see those two separate wound tracks right there. And this mess right here is the 10.4 inch. So right there, looks like it splits. There's a tip. And then we come all the way out here and split again. Nice. Very, very nasty looking wound cavity. Recovered pistol on the left. SBR on the right. So all three of those fragments broke off versus only the bottom tail on the pistol. Here's another odd duck in 5.7. This is from 80 Teeth. This is their 916 Bravo or Charlie, I'm not sure. This is a 40 grain weird design bullet. We will shoot this out of the pistol and the SBR and see what we get. 1880. 2150, and I shot that way too low. 2050, it looks like it left the block at this point. Looks like with our 916, we've got about a 3-inch neck. We have a tumble, and then an immediate tumble thereafter. We leave the block at 11 inches. I think we hit our backstop, and then we get another 6 inches of penetration thereafter. Looks like our base is forward. We'll get that out. Very, very interesting on the 10.5 inch. The first one we shot way too low. That's that guy right down there. We have penetration depths all the way out to around the 21 inch mark. That's right there. This guy right here in the foreground is the pistol. That's a mighty wide cavity there. Our neck is about 2 inches. We've got that double tumble very, very close to each other. That second one looks just as large. We leave the block right around the 11 inch mark, and then we traverse all the way up here. So right around 18 inches total. Now that's not a fair assessment. That's where we need bigger gel blocks. I'm gonna guess it just kind of found its way there. But that's got quite a bit of penetration, just it doesn't have a predictable wound path as it's traversing our soft tissue. There are our recovered rounds. This looks like the brass variant. You can see that we have some deformation from hitting my little backdrop there, and that one from hitting the bottom. Not very long bullets altogether, but they are 40 grains, and since they are solid, they're going to be a little shorter than some other loads, but not too shabby. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here. But at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible, because there's a lot that goes into them. Number one is my family. They're out here a lot helping me do all kinds of things, from mowing the yard to even pulling the trigger and recording on the camera. Number two are my Patreon, Subscribe Star, and YouTube channel members. I have a campsite in the description below. Various different ways to contact me or support me through affiliate links that cost you nothing and they earn me a sales commission. And what I do with that is a lot of times is I buy specialty ammunition from collectors who happen to have it. Of course, number four is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.